Okay, welcome to your first video tutorial for Photoshop class. For your first tutorial, you are going to change your photo into line art, similar to the projects that we had just worked on. Now you're just going to apply that to your own image. First, what you're going to do is open your image, then duplicate the layer. Now we know we can do that multiple ways. Command J is the shortcut to duplicate your layer. You can also go into layers and drag it down to the new image, which will create a background copy. Next, we need to desaturate this layer. So we're going to go up to image, down to adjustments, and simply desaturate it. So now we have a black and white image. And I'm going to move my layers palettes over here. Now we need to duplicate that layer again. Again, we can just Command J that. Now we are going to go and invert this layer. And when we invert it, it's going to make it look like a negative. You can do that under Image, Adjustments, Invert, or you can simply use Command I. So now we have a negative image. Next, we're going to switch our blending options, which we've done in many of our layers in our previous assignment, but we're specifically going to do color dodge. Now, it completely turns my image white, which obviously this is not what we're looking for. So we need to apply a filter to that. We'll go up to Filter, and we're going to go down to Blur, and we're simply going to go to what I call the G blur and click on it. Now our image is beginning to appear. Now we're not going to do necessarily a straight line art image. It's more of a hand-drawn image that we're going to use. Now you can up that. You'll get more detail or less detail. Now it is completely up to you which one you choose. If you would like more of the line art, you're going to do the less detail. If you want more of the charcoal effect, you're going to do more detail. I'm going to I'll do the less detail to begin with to show you what to do after that. So I'm going to press OK, and now we have this image. Next, we're going to come over here and we're just going to simply use the burn tool. Click on midtones. I'm going to up the exposure to about 50%. If that's too much, we can always turn it down later. And I'm going to simply go into here. Now, it's really darkening areas that I don't really want it to darken. So let's undo this. So let's try shadows. Now it's starting to do the areas that I wanted, but it's still a little too dark. So let's undo it again and turn the exposure down. About 19%. Now we can go in here and kind of burn these edges and get the shadows, etc., burnt in there. So that way they're more detailed. Now obviously I want more of this. In here, so we can just go over that, and then if we want to lighten, let's say this area is too dark, we can always switch this to the dodge tool, which will then lighten that back up. So that way we can really go in and perfect our image and get it exactly the way we want it to. So we can toggle back and forth between the dodge and burn tool in here. Okay, so we can really darken the areas that we want to be darkened. Okay, now let's say we don't really want this effect. We would want a different effect. I can go into layers and I'm just going to delete this. Now we're back to this. Another effect we can do is we can go into filter and we can go into sketch and we can just do the photocopy. Now what's important with the photocopy is we need to make sure that our black and white are defaulted. So black's on top and white's on bottom. Otherwise, you're going to get a really messed up image. So let's go down to photocopy. And we're going to zoom out. Command I, of course, zooms out. We know that. And you will see that we kind of have a photocopy. In here, I can up the detail. I can up the darkness if I want. So I can get it the way I want it. I'm just really paying attention to the lines. Now all this noisy stuff I can get rid of. Remember, we can brush that out. So I'm going to press OK here. And I'm just going to use my brush, use white, and then I can brush this layer out if I need to. My opacity is really low. I didn't reset my things, so of course I can brush, oops, kind of jumped there. I can brush this out if I want to. Now personally, I will do this one. I'm just going to delete this, start back over, Command J, Adjustments, Desaturate, Command J again. Let's just go in and invert that. Switch to Color Dodge. Let's close this up. Filter and blur again. And now I'm going to up it. I personally like this effect a lot, and I think that it will look really good with some areas. I can go in now and darken up this edge, the areas that I really want darkened. Then I'm just going to start using my different layers to, I'm going to leave this original. We obviously have to keep this layer. I can merge these two layers, so now I just have my white layer. Once I have it perfected the way I want it, I can rename this sketch layer, and now you can start adding your new layers and painting your effects in there. Now remember, you need to show me all of the things that you did in your last 3 tutorials. So you will need to fill, you will need to dodge and burn, you will need to use the gradient as well. Okay, when you're done with this, you'll need to flatten it, save it as a JPEG, and this will need to be posted to your blog. And that is it for this tutorial.